Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Waharakah Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. Honors your brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So this is going to be a quick study into dark, melanated skin. I'm going to go into some scriptures dealing with the color and complexion of the Lord and the people the Lord's coming to have mercy on, all the Lord's people, so you can understand. And pretty much I'm using this individual, this young girl, basically as the premise. And I've got a few different ideas to attach all into this. So this is more like a study, more than a short video. So pretty much this story has been going out there of this 11-year-old, and she launched a business with her sister to combat the racist attitude towards her skin color that she had been observing. And this ain't just a thing of so-called white people coming up against her, because when you read the article and you watch the news excerpt, you find out that it was also coming from Jake. So pretty much the angle I'm going to take off of this is coming from the angle of Jake, and this goes back onto the Willie Lynch letter, which I've got prepared in the background. Okay, pretty much you find out that what they wanted to do, okay, so they didn't have to do too much work, and it has worked. All right, they wanted to pit all of the different classes of Jake, if you will, the different shades of Israelites, okay, of which Jake is short for Jacob, which is the Israelites, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. They basically wanted to have it to where the racist attitudes that they had towards, which they still have, okay, the racist sentiment, I'll say, that they had against the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, will have its own self-carrying momentum, if you will. So, for instance, the light-skinned Negroes will look down upon the dark-skinned Negroes. The ones with the long hair will look down upon the short-haired Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, so that the hatred and sentiment that they had against us, okay, will be within our own system. Okay, and a beautiful song I like to think about. There's a song that comes to mind, a common song. There's a lyric that he had out there. It might be a Black Maybe. That's the name of the song. And pretty much he says within the song, you're going to face particular enemies. And some of those enemies are going to be enemies of your own kind. And some of those enemies is going to be coming from your own mind. Okay, because there's a system in play to keep the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans down. And this is just an example of that. So I'm going to get this scripture right quick. Ye are of your father. Okay. And because this particular scripture, I believe it's in the book of John, in fact. Okay, the book of John, 8:44. Okay, and it goes into it. And pretty much this basically tells the whole essence of this story. Because when you read, like I said in the article, this particular little Jake girl, little Israelite girl, she was experienced racist attitudes, but predominantly from our own people. Because you find out through the system of the Willie Lynch, through the system which has been adapted to the TV shows and the movies that you see, and you see the Israelites portrayed in, you find out that, you know, one of our own, the worst, and I believe Apostle Elder Gabar said this in one of the last videos that he done, one of the apostles had said it, okay, don't quote me on that, but really one of our own, the worst enemies that we got is our own people. And the Lord, when he was on the scene, he experienced that. Because our own people do the bidding of their father, their spiritual father, the devil, which means the deceiver. Diablos is the word devil here, which means deceiver. And pretty much they go about killing their own people, ultimately. That's why the scripture says, Jerusalem, ye are the ones that killed the prophets. Okay, because you could say, all right, you know, the Romans hated Jake and so on and so forth. But the Lord was brought unto the Romans by his own people. Okay, the same thing with the prophets, the disciples that was on the scene, they was killed by their own people. And right up on to the time that we're in right now, there's a sentiment the devil, Satan, the so-called white people, so you can understand, okay, of the seed of Edom, because you got white people out there that are really from the tribe of Israel, but of the seed of Edom, that's the devil, the deceivers of the Lord has put on the earth to control the earth right now, the wicked, so you can understand. Okay, they really want to kill the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and that spirit is taken on by certain ones of our own people that do the bidding, okay, of the deceiver, okay, the wicked. So the book of John, the 8th chapter, on the 44th verse, it says, "You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do." Okay, he was a murderer from the beginning, and he adored me not in truth. And you check out these Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, especially when you put this into perspective, okay, basically this little young girl was experienced racist attitude, okay, and she had to create a whole business to combat that, okay, and the name of the business was Flexing in My Own Complexion. But the devil don't he don't dwell in truth, and so his minions don't dwell in truth. And if they dwell in truth, they'll find out that the Lord himself was a dark-skinned man, okay, if not one of the darkest, okay, because when you check out the scriptures like the book of Jeremiah, the 14th chapter, and the was it Jeremiah 14 and 2, okay, it goes into it how pretty much that the Lord, okay, comes from the tribe of Judah, okay, let me get that right quick, and they were black onto the ground. So I'll get two scriptures right quick, all right, because if you was dwelling in if you was dwelling in truth, you know that the Lord was a dark-skinned man, and these schisms that we have amongst our own people, where the darker ones hate the light, or rather, the lighter ones hate the darker ones. That's a non-biblical thing, man. Okay, when we were set up and we had our own throne, okay, the darker you was, the better you was. But really, we didn't look down upon each other because of complexion, because it all went back onto the seed of who? Of Jacob. Okay, so if you went back onto the seed of Jacob, you was blessed, man. We looked down on the other nations, the Edomites, the Ammonites, the Ishmaelites, but we didn't look down upon our people. So that goes to show you the vast majority of our people, they don't dwell in the truth. They don't understand the truth. Okay, and therefore they do the bidding of their father, okay, the deceiver, the wicked, okay, in that they look down upon their own people, okay, because they are of a darker complexion. But what you're going to see, all right, within this video, you're going to find out the darker you are, the better you are. Okay, you're less prone to aging, so you can understand. So the book of Jeremiah, the 14th, and other things, okay, the book of Jeremiah, the 14th chapter, on the 2nd verse, says, "Judah mourneth, the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground, okay, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up." So that's Jake. They were, and you go into that word, I believe it's Kadash, okay, meaning skin tone. So to them Israelites, okay, were dark unto the ground. Okay, I believe it's Hebrews 7 and 14 I want to go to here, which goes to show you that the Lord sprang out of Judah, meaning to say he too was a dark-skinned person. And the scripture is going to go into it in the book of Revelations. So the book of Hebrews 7, I hope this is the one, because I'm trying to remember the scripture. Okay, oh yeah, here we go, it's beautiful. So Hebrews 7 and 14, it says, "For it is evident that our Lord Yahweh Shai, okay, sprang out of Judah, okay, for which tribe Moses spoke nothing concerning priesthood." Because when you read the whole thing here, this is basically talking about how the Lord opened up the priesthood unto the rest of the tribes, but he came out of the tribe of Judah, and we just read that the tribe of Judah was dark-skinned, man. Okay, now let's go into the book of Revelations, the 1st chapter, and really see what the scripture says about the dark skin. Okay, so Revelations 1, is it 14 or something like this? Okay, Revelations 1 and 14, it says, let's start from 13. "And in the midst of the 7 candles, one like unto the Son of Man," so this is talking about whom the world calls Jesus, okay, "with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle." All right, so it says, "And his head was like, and his head and his hairs were white like wool." So he had white woolly hair as snow, "and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet were likened unto the brass," all right, as if burnt in a furnace, "and his voice was like the voice of many waters," which is the same skin tone that this little young Israelite girl has, okay, of which, when you really want to go into it, that's the royal color right there. Okay, that's the royal pigmentation, because it's telling you here that that's how the Lord looked like. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much when they had put this in there, this is really talking about brass. I believe it was a mistranslation. Okay, I don't actually believe it's talking about bronze. I'm sorry, it's not talking about brass as it says here. I think it was bronze, of which in either case, when you burn either of those metals, they turn very dark. Okay, the same complexion that you got here. So, because you got a lot of people out here that believe that the Lord was a so-called white man, but when you really read the scriptures, you find out he was a dark-skinned man, and not just of like they say dark skin like he's Middle Eastern. No, dark skin like this young girl over here. Okay, so now let me go to the book of Daniel. I believe it's the 10th chapter. Okay, I believe it's in the 10th chapter. Okay, here we go. So Daniel 10 and 5, it says, and then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed with linen, whose loins was girded with fine gold of Uphaz, and his body was like the beryl. It was also like the beryl, of which that's the garment, the green garment. Okay, and it says, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his and the lamps of fire, and his arms and feet like as polished brass. So okay, so the color here was polished brass. Okay, oh here we go, bronze. Okay, of which when you check out those metals, those are dark skinned metals, man. So you got it to where in 2 places, 3 places, 4 places, you're seeing it to where the man whom the world calls Jesus is a dark skinned person, of which the complexion that he would have had would have been a lot similar to what this young girl has. But see, through the system of white supremacy, our people, even our own people, look down upon dark skin. Okay, so now let's read a little bit of this article. It says Taylor Pollard remembers when her younger sister, Carice Rogers, was in 1st grade, and she was asked, it's funny, that's her sister, but she's got different surnames, right? That goes to show you what the black woman's like. Okay, but that's a different side note for a different story. It says, once asked to stay in the bathtub longer, she hoped it would make her skin light. Okay, and that's when I realized that the bullying was going on at our school. Okay, and the 1st grade was really taking a toll on, and 1st grade were really taking a toll on her. Okay, and he was saying kids were making fun of her dark complexion. What else is he gonna say? There were 4 other African Americans, but Roger's skin was darker, okay, than everybody else's, and that's where you get the bullying come from. Because it's one thing, okay, if it's white people that do it, okay, you know, that's like a criminal offense or something like that. What they call hate speech or whatever. But see, now you got it to where what? They got their minions, okay, these bugged out Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans doing their bidding for them. And I say bugged out because really the darker the skin, the better off you're going to be, man. You're going to see that. Okay, so let me read a little bit of this. Okay, this is the Willie Lynch letter. Okay, and when you go into this is all about a self-perpetuating slave machine. Okay, that's what they wanted to create. And they've successfully done that. You're talking about the white supremacy. They don't even need to do that. Okay, we will keep our own people down, okay, through the system that they set up. Okay, that's why I read that scripture, ye are of your father, the devil. That's why you got it to where how can you have racism amidst people of the same nation through a system called white supremacy implemented by what? The Willie Lynch letter. Okay, how they got it to where Jakes hate each other, okay, through the hatred that they've created. Okay, so let me, you can read this for yourself. This is out there. This is online. All right, but I'm gonna just read from here. So it says, I have outlined a number of differences among slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. That's why you got it to where a lot of them Negroes out there, okay, fighting up against each other, okay, they're basically fighting up against each other because Esau, okay, the wicked, okay, who you call white people for the most part, okay, they created that. All right. Why do you think these Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans in impoverished situations ain't fighting up against their real oppressor who puts all kind of taxes upon them? Because this Willie Lynch system is in full effect. All right. So it goes on and continues. It says, these methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about it. Right? It says on the top of my list is age. All right, it is there, but it is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color and shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation. And when you check out the way these Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans behave, they follow this to a T. Okay, you go to where the old ones, really the younger ones, they stray so far away from the old ones. Okay, the old ones hate them and the young ones hate the old ones. That's why you go to where you got a lot of West Indies or a lot of West Africans. Their children, when they come out here, they're completely different to their old parents. Okay, well, to their older parents, of which the older parents have got more culture, but these minions got a less cultured. Okay, the second one mentioned is color and shade. Here it is, they got it to where you hate your own people based on what? Color and shade, intelligence, size, sex. Okay, you got it to where you got this thing of sex wars or gender wars. That's most prevalent within the Negro, Hispanic, and Native American community, man. Here it is, you have English or white women, or so you can understand, and they'll get into that a little bit, but really they know how it goes down. Okay, they know how I mean, the Esau's a punk, but they know how certain things roll within their household. Okay, I mean, some of these Edomites, they got old money, so you think some woman is just gonna come up in there and talk about some equal pay or something like that? They got old money that goes back onto the slavery days, man. Okay, which that went through the fathers. You check out how the Rothschilds set up their family. That goes through the fathers' line. So that whole thing of gender wars, that's really most prevalent in minorities, man. Of which really, I'm talking about you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Even them Indians out there, they don't behave like that. Okay? Because, which goes to show you there's certain things that they put out there and they make it look like it's for everybody, but really attacks you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. It's an attack on you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Okay, and it goes into plantation sites. That's why you got postcode wars out there within England, because them Negroes, them bugged out Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are trying to defend a patch that don't even belong to them. A patch that's got another man's name on it. Okay, and I mean, I could read more of this, all right, but really the point's made because he goes into more detail, okay, on how he was going to use those differences, okay, of shade, basically to have it to where what? It's a self-perpetuating system. Okay, let me read a little bit of this. It says, there is a bit here I want to read. But when, like I said, when you read these things, man, you find out, okay, that they really put this into effect, and as a result, they don't even really need to be out there out and out racist, because we will do it for ourselves through this system. Okay, but when you read, oh, here we go. Orbiting cycle means a thing turning in a given path. An axis means a means upon which or around which a body turns. Okay. And that's the thing that they have. You got it to where this is a self-perpetuating engine, man. Okay. Let's see. I don't want to get, because you could do a whole study on this. Okay, you could do a whole study on this, but pretty much, that's, I'll leave it at that, because we got the bit that we wanted to. Okay, now let's go into another article here, and this is all I did was type in the advantages of being dark skinned. So we read within the scriptures the Lord was a dark skinned man. Okay, we've seen the Willie Lynch letter and went to show you that what them differences that these Jakes have against each other. Okay, that goes back onto Willie Lynch, but it goes deeper than that, really, because when you check it out, it goes into the curses. Okay, so the scripture I'm looking for, it goes something like evil towards his brother. Okay, let's read that. It's in the book of Deuteronomy. Okay, so Deuteronomy 28:54, it says, so that let me read up. Okay, so that the man that is tender and delicate among you, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. Okay, and the wife towards the of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Okay, so our fathers leave us, and there's all kind of hatred, okay, amidst the Negro, Hispanic, and Native American community, so you can understand. And that all goes back onto the curses. Okay, so this is here. This article is called "The Advantage of Having Dark Skin." And I'm just gonna pick out certain points. So it says you're less prone to sunburns. Okay, white-skinned individuals often get painful carrot red or tomato red inflamed sunburns on exposure to sunlight. Some individuals also get blistered, okay, sunburns, okay, requiring aggressive medical treatment. And this is supposed to be the superior skin color. You cannot go out there and sunbathe. You got to put some damn sunscreen on. Okay, your darker skin allows you to spend a much longer time on the beach, and you probably have never experienced any blisters due to sunburn. And these are things you don't think about because that's just how you live. Okay, photo aging. Okay, fine deep wrinkles. All right, and I'm gonna touch on this in a second. So I'll come back to that. It says here you're less prone to skin cancer, and also too, generally speaking, people with darker skin tend to have darker eyes. All right, which is more protected in what? In the sunlight. Okay, so this is the photo aging. It says fine and deep wrinkles, broken blood vessels on the nose, the cheeks, freckles, age spots, rough scaly spots. Okay, called keratosis, are only commonly seen in white-skinned individuals with long-term sun exposure. These set for changes are called photoaging because of natural sun protection. Your Indian skin remains less wrinkles and smoother even when exposed to the same amount of sun. So this is what they call black don't crack. Okay, and I've got some interesting pictures here. Okay, hopefully I ain't got no messages to bother me. Yeah, okay, that's good. Here we go. All right, so dismissed. All right, so if I quickly I'll go through some of these images, you're gonna see basically it's better to be dark skinned, man. So if we take a look at these ain't none of these women less than 20. But you can see they're all fine.